Okay, ALGUER. How you doing today?
Good, and you? Doing good, and you?
Good, good. So let's bring it back all the way to the beginning, man. Where were you born?
I was born in Camagüey, Cuba, 1996.
What would you say is the first memory as a child of your childhood?
My first memory, I would have to say el arroz blanco con el platanito, el bistec.
Elaborate. What is that?
It's the typical poor Cuban family dinner and lunch and breakfast, pan con aceite. Yo comía pan con aceite en Cuba. Pan, aceite y sal. That was like a snack for me. That was the best thing ever.
That's bread with oil, olive oil, and
it's
salt.
bread with, you put oil in the pan with salt, y lo calienta, and then you put the bread on it and you eat it. El pru, ¿cómo es el pru que se llamaba, no? Que es como una malta, pero es un pru en Cuba. Se llamaba así pru, si no me equivoco. It's a long time, bro. Pero I would drink like 3-4 of those a day. Es como darle malta aquí a un niño en Miami.
Who are your parents and where were they from?
My parents are both de Camagüey, Cuba. My mom left Cuba when she was young, so she never became anything in Cuba. My dad era cogía ponche en la casa, arreglaba bicicleta, la mecánica de eso, no mucho de carro, pero sí de bicicleta, handyman. He's always been a handyman.
So your dad fixed tires, basically.
En Cuba sí, un coge ponche en Cuba es un negocio.
Right.
Pero de bicicleta en la casa.
Got it. So, who raised you?
My grandparents.
Your grandparents?
Yeah.
Where are they from?
De Camagüey, Cuba también. My grandpa was a soldier. He fought late 70s, early 80s, because my mom was a child when he was away en Angola. Cuando Angola tenía su problema en África, tú sabes, la guerra que había en Angola entre ellos mismos. My grandpa was part of that. I've known a bunch of stories of war and stuff that he tells me on how like friends of his younger than him died, you know, right next to him. And
So he fought for the revolution, with the revolution. He was with the Cuban Revolution.
he was part of the government army.
Okay. Yeah.
He wasn't comunista, él lo hacía por un cheque,
Right.
por un salario, por un pan con bistec. Él lo hacía por un salario, por un pan con bistec, él se fue a Angola por un ventilador
Right.
chiquitico. Si te pones a pensar es una locura. Tú te vas a arriesgar tu vida por un ventilador. Eso para que tú veas la necesidad que hay en Cuba, o que había. Bueno, hoy en día está peor, o no sé cómo, porque yo no vivo en Cuba, pero de que está mal, está mal. Y nunca, de hace long time, que eso está jodido.
Do you have any siblings, any brothers and sisters?
De parte de mi mamá no tengo. Tengo 3 hermanos de parte de padre, diferentes madres. Yo soy el mayor.
How would you describe your life, like growing up?
Growing up for me is a roller coaster. The reason why is you want English or Spanish? What you want? You want Spanglish?
It doesn't matter. I mean,
Okay.
whatever you want.
When I was
You
4,
mix it up.
I left Cuba when I was 4, so I only had 4 years of experience, or 3, because you don't have memories for the first year or so. I only have like 3 years of memory of Cuba. But after that, I went to Israel in 2001. I was raised there until the age of 10.
Oh, you left to Israel to seek asylum.
We went, exactly. We were looking for escape.
Right.
Yeah, we were looking for better opportunity, and it was like 70% of my family from my mother's side left.
How was that? How was that experience going from Cuba, a little island in the Caribbean, all the way to Israel? How was that? Explain.
For me, since I was a kid,
Yeah.
I couldn't really understand the difference of a country-wise, right? I don't know what I have and what I don't have. Everything is given to me at the plate because I'm a little kid. But what does hit me is when I started going to school in Israel. Everything was a different language.
What language they speak? Hebrew, right?
Everything was Hebrew. And for me, I only knew the little kid Spanish that I knew, right? And I was struggling a lot. No one understood me. Teachers did not understand me. I didn't know how to communicate.
Did they have other kids like you there that came from Cuba?
In my school, because I went from kindergarten, the last year of kindergarten before.
Oh, so you were young. You were.
Yeah, I was 4.
You were like, yeah.
I was 4.
That's really young. Wow.
I peed myself twice because the teacher wouldn't understand me. And el baño. They don't know what el baño is.
Wow.
Déjame ir al baño. ¿Puedo ir al baño? Me estoy orinando. I gotta pee. They don't know that. It was Hebrew.
How long were you in Israel for?
Until 2006. 6 years. About 6 to 5 years.
So did you learn the language?
Yes,
You learned everything?
It became my first language, my first developed language. Reading, writing.
It's interesting.
You know.
What sort of things did they teach you there in the schools? Like, how was the school system?
So, since elementary, right, they teach you how to take care of animals. Like, literally, little farm animals, porcupines, bunnies, dogs, cats, different. They teach you how to take care of them. They also have, like, plant houses. They teach you how to water plants. They teach you the organic side of the world.
That's
since you were a kid.
That's interesting.
You grow up knowing how to eat tomatoes right out of the tree, bite it. Cucumber, bite it. Just like that. They teach you how to
teach you how to cultivate, basically.
They teach you how to do that.
Wow.
It's very strong in Israel. It's very organic.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. And everything else, of course. Music, writing, Hebrew, history, you name it. Math,
Religion.
science, religion.
I suppose.
They teach you everything. School is 360. It has everything in it.
What did you play as a child? Like, what's your earliest memory?
Of my first sport?
Yeah, game, a sport, anything.
Yeah, I remember that for sure. Nintendo. Remember you had to like blow in the little thingy and put it in there. I remember the bird that you had to shoot. The weapon was it was plastic. Taka, 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 taka. It would sound like that, annoying as hell.
Duck hunt.
Yeah, that one.
Duck hunt. Yeah.
I was annoying as hell all day doing that. But if we're talking about sport, Israel is big on basketball and soccer. They love soccer. Soccer is super big in Israel.
That's interesting. So, but the first sport that you played in Israel was soccer.
Soccer and basketball. Those two together.
How about in Cuba?
No, in Cuba didn't.
You don't remember?
No, in Cuba didn't really. I remember la bolita on the street, little kids playing, but I was a little kid, so not really.
Oh, like marbles.
Yeah. La bolita esa que you throw on the
marbles.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
That's what you call it. I remember my sport by myself as a kid. I used to cazar abeja. I used to get a little cup and I used to catch them with my hands until one day I got stung by one of them and it hurt, bro. That was my last time. I never did it again.
That's pretty interesting how they teach you how it's different here. You go to school and you drop your kid off. And over there, they don't teach you that here.
I used to walk to school.
Well, yeah.
As a kid.
They don't teach you They don't teach you how to cultivate, how to plant anything, Anyways, do you have any children?
I have 2 kids.
2 kids? How old are they?
3. The oldest one is 3. The youngest one is 2.
They're boys? Or
They're
girls?
both boys.
They're both boys. Wow. Are you married?
I'm divorced, actually.
Divorced?
Yeah.
How long have you been divorced?
It's about to be 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, it's been so fast.
Do you work?
I do work. I'm a bartender.
That's good.
I'm a bartender. Recently got out of the army.
That's good. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. My pleasure.
What did you do in the army?
I was a scout.
A
19
scout?
Delta.
Wow.
So I was a light infantry scout.
Light infantry.
Yes, because they have heavy units and they have light units.
Were you? How long did you do in the army?
Almost 4 years. I just did 1 contract.
That's good. That's good. You didn't go out you weren't shipped out overseas or anything?
I was shipped out to Qatar, but like 3 days of us being there, they canceled our mission.
How was that like?
It sucked.
Yeah?
Because we have the amount of preparation that you have to do, pack everything up, find everything by serial numbers, you know what I'm saying, accountabilities. You have to pack your own personal stuff. It's a lot, you know what I'm saying? Especially me, because I was getting divorced, I had my house, I had to pack my whole house by myself, because my ex-wife was not with me at the time anymore. I packed the whole thing by myself and put it in storage. I went to the barracks room until we left, like literally 2 days after.
How old are you, Albert?
I'm 26.
26? Wow, you're pretty young. Do you have any goals, any aspirations or anything?
I'm an artist.
You're an artist? What kind of artist?
I do music. I do like reggaeton, trap.
That's good, that's good.
Try to be
That's good.
not limited.
That's
Try
good.
to do every single type of song that I can do.
And you're doing connections, you're trying to make your connections well and all that, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm open to work, man.
That's good.
I work with anything that comes to mind. We make it happen, No limitations.
You're obviously in your boys' lives, right?
Yeah.
You're in their lives.
I try to be there all the time. I'm not like present physically,
Right.
But I always try to do my best.
That's good. What traditions would you like to establish for your boys, for your family?
For my boys,
Yes.
I would have to say the same that I had growing up, Christianity. I'm not gonna force them to believe in any God or anything. I'm gonna show them what I was taught when I was growing up, and then they choose if they want to follow it or not. But I'm definitely gonna push towards Christianity.
That's good. So far, up until today, what do you think is the most happiest moment of your life?
My first baby boy. Yeah. When I saw him being born, that was probably it was maybe not the happiest, because it was the happiest and the most nerve-wracking situation in my life. I cried. I did not know I was going to cry. I cried when I saw that little angel coming out of there. When he started crying, I lost it right there. I lost it when he started crying. When I saw my family, when I got out of the room with the baby, I lost it there.
That's great.
I don't feel different. Like, I still feel young. I'm still a kid. But then I have 2 kids that belong to me. I'm a kid with 2 kids. That's how I feel. I feel like I had them young. I wasn't prepared, but I faced it and I did it, and then I have them, which I don't regret.
That's
You
great.
know?
That's awesome, man.
Because then I see, for example, my oldest kid, he does things that I used to do when I was a kid.
Really?
He
Like,
did- he
what?
ne-
What does he do?
Like facial expressions, like throwing himself on the floor. You can name it, from the good and bad. The worst things that he does, I used to do them as a kid. I used to throw myself on the floor in Cuba to my mom. I don't want to walk. Because we used to walk for like 2 hours to get
Yeah.
anywhere. In el calor, in Camagüey. Imagine a 3-year-old baby, like, yo, let's go walk for 3 hours. Hell no.
No way.
That was me. I was the guy on the floor in the middle of the street. And that's Axel right there.
Wow.
You know, and then Aiden is more quiet, but he still has things, you know, and I see him doing things that his mom used to do as a little girl, because I know his mom. I know the mom. I know the baby mama for like years. I was 9 when I met her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So that would put you back in Israel.
Yes.
So you guys met in Israel.
We met in Israel.
Oh, wow. That's pretty interesting.
I was
So she came from Cuba
to Israel.
to Israel.
Different parts of Cuba, different families. I have no connection with her, and they happen to be almost the same story. Because a lot of Cubans got out of Cuba and went to
I
Israel.
went to Israel.
Not just my family. There's a couple. There's a lot of people that went to Israel.
That's interesting. Wow.
You would never think, right?
Wow.
Cubans are everywhere, man. You go to Alaska, there's a Cuban there, pescando en el hielo.
So did you guys connect in Israel and kind of stayed in contact, or you guys met back here? How did that go?
It's a long story, man. We met in Israel. Okay, she started going to my school. She did not know Hebrew, so I used to translate to her. We became friends. My mom and her mom, they knew each other. They were friends. They introduced me to her. Look, it's the girl you're gonna help. Blah blah blah. You know, and that's how it was. That's how we started. I used to translate to her. I used to help her. Then we became friends, and the little crush started growing. And as little kids, we had a little crush going on. You know, we were little boyfriend and girlfriend.
Exactly, right.
Grabbing hand. Oh my gosh, you grabbed my hand, and a little kiss in the cheek. You know, that's how it was. And then I came over here. We separated. We kept contact. You know, obviously after years we broke up. She went her way, I went my way. And then she was married before.
But she's still in your kids' lives, right?
Who?
Your
Yeah. No,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
The babies are with her.
okay. That's
Babies are
good.
with her.
That's good. That's great, man. That's a pretty interesting story. It sounds like a movie.
Yeah, it could be love and a scary movie too. There's war in between. There is. I've seen it when I was a kid. I experienced a missile flying over the head.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was because I went on vacation right before coming over here. There was conflict between Israel and Lebanon, and I happened to be in the area where the border is because I was there on vacation.
In Lebanon.
No, in Israel.
In
but
Israel,
like on the
okay.
side where it's connected to the border, like Mexico and Texas.
Yeah.
I was on that side, and we were there on vacation. And I remember we were at the beach, and I saw 2 jets flying. And, oh look, they're training, or that's what we thought, you know. But like a few hours later, the alarms went on.
Wow.
I still remember, man. It
Scary.
It was pretty scary. I was a kid. I was nervous. It was full moon. I remember taking a shower when the alarms went on. It was full moon because I was looking outside the window. Beautiful night, full moon. Conflict started.
Jeez.
And the moon was so big too, man. It felt like a movie. It does not feel real.
Well, you're lucky to be alive, man.
Yeah. I was supposed to get a train to get out of there. And then we ended up not getting it. And that same train, the next day, we found out it was bombed. So if I would have gotten on the train, I would probably not be here.
What's been the most difficult moment of your life up until now? And how did you overcome it?
The most difficult moment?
Yeah, what's been the most difficult time of your life? I know your life is kind of short-lived still.
But it's full of difficult moments.
But I mean, what's one of the most difficult moments of your life?
describe difficult though, because difficult can be mental, it can be physical.
Anything, any difficult moment of your life.
One of the hardest times can be basic training for me,
Okay.
because it was something I put myself in, right? Thinking it was going to be one way. I knew it was not going to be. I knew for a fact it wasn't going to be easy, right? Because if it's easy, then what's the point? But it was way more than I expected. But I liked it at the same time. I learned from it. For the first 3 weeks, it was probably hell.
You think it made you a stronger person?
It made me stronger. It made me
Mentally
and physically stronger. Definitely, because now I know how to deal with situations differently. Now if I'm in the street living in my car, I'm not going to break down. Now I know why I'm in my car living in the streets. Now I know because I'm suffering, because I'm going to have an impact in life. Because if I'm not suffering, wanting to do something, like music for example, that means don't even do it, because you're not really going to have any impact. But
Right.
the fact that I'm suffering so much trying to do something I like and and achieve it, and it's not easy. I'm not having an easy life right now, but
It's worth it.
I know towards the end of this year I'm gonna see fruit coming out of it. The same thing when I was in basic training the first week. My baby was born. It was only a month old, and I left. That was one of the hardest things.
That must have been hard. Yeah.
I used to cry. I used to walk in formation and like swallow my tears. I used to look up for my tears not to fall down, because I didn't want the drill sergeants to see me cry. Because I was thinking about my kids. I didn't care that they were screaming at me doing push-ups. That's easy stuff. It's the fact that my kid was a month old and I left.
Yeah.
And no communications, no phone, no nothing.
That must have been difficult, man.
You sleeping outside, getting rained on. You're thinking, damn, my kid, and I'm over here like, what am I doing? You know?
What were the most important principles that you were taught as a child?
As a child?
Yeah, that your grandparents or your mom or dad taught you as a child, you know?
Definitely don't steal, don't lie. As a kid, I was taught good from bad. What you can do, what you cannot do. The consequences of what happens, right? After you do certain things. I stole one time candy from a store because I was with people that were stealing. So they got me into it. Oh yeah, just get it. And me, I didn't, I wasn't that type of kid. I stole the candy and I got caught doing it. So I sucked at it, stealing a candy. So I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this again. Because I felt so ashamed. I was like, oh hell no, this is not me.
Right.
I got nervous. I got the candy and I got nervous. I'm like, oh my god, what am I doing? Because I knew it wasn't good. I just wanted to be cool with the other kids. But I got caught and I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing this. I'm definitely not doing this anymore. And I had a girl one time that I was chilling with. She was trying to steal M&Ms from a Walgreens. And I got nervous. I left the store. I'm like, no, if you want to do it, you go ahead and do it, but I'm not doing this. Yeah, man, my grandpa put the fear in me when I was a kid. And
Of not being a thief.
Of not being a thief, not being a bandolero.
Yeah.
But bandolero in its own ways.
Gotcha.
Because bandolero meaning don't do bad to others. Pero soy un bandolero de la calle that I do harm to myself. But I don't harm people around me. You know what I'm saying? If there's any consequences are directly only straight to me. Not because I damaged someone else.
What did you want to be when you grow up? When you're an artist?
I wanted to be an artist. And by artist, I mean I always wanted to do acting, stand-up, music. Those three things right there. As a kid growing up, I used to write my own skits for drama. I went from drama 1 to acting honors.
So you're an artistic child.
Artistic.
You were not, that's what I said. You were an artistic child.
Yeah.
Who was your hero growing up?
Tarzan.
Tarzan? Who did you look up to?
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey? That's pretty cool.
Jim Carrey was definitely my biggest idol.
Have you ever been in love?
In love?
Yeah.
I'm
Head over heels, you know, in love, infatuated, whatever you call it.
Love is a difficult word to describe, and it's very hard to get to experience due to the circumstances and situations that people go through in life, right? A lot of this is my opinion. A lot of people think they're with someone that they love, but they don't really feel love. They feel comfortable. So being in love is like having fantasies with someone, dreaming about making a story that you see in movies, like The Notebook. That's what being in love is, right? People, when you say, "Oh, you want to be falling in love," you can think straight up about The Notebook. Because
what's The Notebook? It's
The Notebook is the romantic movie. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a romantic movie.
Okay. I've heard of it. I just never. I know there's a book, right?
It's a book.
There's a book by it, right?
That the guy wrote because the lady, when they got old, she got Alzheimer's. So he used to write to her all the time.
Yes.
That's the type of love. But nowadays, it's.
I think it's hard. You think nowadays it's hard to find love?
Nowadays, it's hard. Nowadays, we're very materialistic.
Yeah.
Superstitious.
Some of us.
For most of us.
Most of us.
Most of us. I'm talking about like nowadays. When I say nowadays, I mean like from 30 and under, right? From 30 and under, that group is from 30 and under that's still growing. That's how they're thinking. From 35 and over is like they have the older version, which is still some love there.
Do you think that it's the same thinking here in the United States, or I'm sorry, I should have said versus the thinking in Israel versus the thinking in the United States? Is the kind of the same as that, materialistic and all that? Would you put that in that category that everyone falls under, or it's just the women here in South Florida?
I would say it depends on where you are.
Depends where you're at.
Definitely, it depends on where you are. I think each country, each continent, maybe, has their own ways. Like Europe, the girls are different from island girls. American girls are different from island girls.
Mm-hmm.
They all follow to the same path, but they all have their own versions, right? We all come from one root, but we just make different trees. That's how I see the world.
Got it. Do you remember when your mom or your parents decided to leave Cuba? Do you remember the day that they said, hey, we're leaving Cuba, or, you know?
I remember because my grandparents left first, and then my mom and my dad were separated already. They separated when I was 2.
Okay.
Me and my mom stayed alone in Cuba for a year, waiting for the papers to get approved. It's a process, man.
Right. So your grandparents left Cuba to the United States, or to? They
left to Israel.
To Israel, okay.
And me and my mom stayed in the house that we were living with my grandparents. But then one of my grandma's sister, she moved in and she took over the house, and we got kicked out. And I remember the whole conflict. I remember the whole fighting in the street, screaming from across the street from house to house. And we got kicked out from our own house.
Would you say that was one of your most difficult moments in life?
That was my first difficult moment. That was my first memory of a difficult moment. And it was pretty difficult. Imagine getting kicked out of your house, your own house, in a third world country.
And you were pretty young too.
I was like
You're a baby
3.
almost.
I was like 3.
Yeah, a toddler.
I was still a kid.
Yeah. What year did you get to the United States?
The age of 10, 2006.
2006. You were 10 years old. So, what family member throughout that transition from Cuba to Israel, Israel to the United States, which family member stayed with you throughout that whole thing? It was just your mom, or
From Cuba to Israel, it was my mom. And then from Israel to here, it was my mom and my grandparents. And one of my aunts. The same aunt that kicked us out of the house when we were a baby. The same aunt that kicked us out of the house.
wow.
She went to Israel a few years later. I'm telling you, almost like literally like 75% of my family from my mom's side went to Israel year after year. And groups by groups. It was groups of 5, 6. And then around 2004, she moved. Everything got fixed. In 2006, the group of us, my mom, grandparents, her, and me, came over here.
So why did they want to leave Israel?
Because my grandma didn't like it. She did not learn the language. It was hard for her. It's hard if you don't learn the language. It's hard for you to go up from just being a housekeeping. If you don't know the language, if you don't have a title over there, you're most likely going to be cleaning in hotels, unless you're like a handyman. But for being a handyman, you need to know the language.
Right.
You need to learn it.
Did you want to leave?
I didn't want to leave.
You didn't
For
want
me, it was an impact. Imagine another impact coming over here, not knowing
Right.
Spanish, not knowing English. I came here in 5th grade, and the very first class I walked into was a Spanish class. But I had to read. I did not know. I was like, "What is this? I don't understand."
Right.
And people used to make fun of me. The teacher used to like question me all the time, like, "How do you not know Spanish when you're Cuban?" I'm like, "Well, that's because I don't come from Cuba." I got detention one time for not copying down notes because he used to write in cursive. My 5th grader used to write, my teacher used to write in cursive, and I didn't know what that was. So I wouldn't copy notes, and he found out one day, and I got detention for that. But little by little, I learned. I taught myself.
What surprised you about coming to the United States? Like, what impacted you about here?
At first, it was freedom, the difference in freedom. Israel is very free when it comes to having kids on the streets.
What do you mean?
Kids are always on the street, everywhere.
Okay.
Whichever time it is, they're playing in the street.
Oh, I get
There's
it.
no worries. There's no fear of they're gonna get robbed, they're gonna get killed. I'm not saying Israel is a perfect country, but that fear is not there. Over here, as soon as I came here, I couldn't go to the parks like I used to. I couldn't ride bicycle after freaking 6:30 p.m.
There's a lot of kidnappings.
There's a lot of kidnapping. There's a lot of killing, raping.
So you would say there's less kidnapping in Israel than there is here?
When I was there, yes, it was less. Maybe now it's more. I'm not sure, but when I was there, you would see girls walking alone
Right.
at the beach. I used to go on my bicycle every day to the beach and go with a group of friends. And I was a kid. When I say kid, I mean under 10. You know what I'm saying? That's very young.
Yeah.
To be
that
around the
is.
city like that, that's very young.
That is.
And nothing ever happened. There was no fear, nothing. I couldn't do that here.
Would you say that Israel would be a better place to raise kids, to raise your children, or a better environment?
If we had the same environment here, this would be good. Because
If we would have the same environment as Israel.
yeah. In Israel, it can be bad because of war, right?
Right.
But you don't see that all the time. In the city that I was raised, you don't see that.
Is military mandatory there?
It is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure about that, but you have to join them. I heard it was men and women, right?
Yeah, they both have to.
They have to go
They
through
have
military training.
They have to. Everyone. There's like circumstances, right? If you have obviously
Right,
if
yeah.
you're disabled, if you're a single mother and you're pregnant, they're not gonna send you.
Right, right.
But like
You have mental illness. I
exactly.
suppose.
But the general law is everyone has to.
Let me ask you this. I don't know if you know about this, but how how is the mental illness rate in Israel versus the United States? I know that Israel is a smaller country, but how would you say the mental illness rate is there? I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I had friends with mental illness
In Israel.
in Israel. We had special kids. I had like two
Define special. What do you mean?
special kids with special needs.
Like autism and
Autism,
stuff like. Okay.
You know, kids with special needs or special equipments to move around and stuff like that. But it's the same as you see it here. They have their own classes. You know, it's the same system. When it comes to that, it's almost the same system. There's not a lot of difference. The rate, I can't really compare it because Israel is so small.
Right.
It's very, very small.
Smaller than.
It's
the United
smaller
States.
than Florida.
Right. That's probably.
Israel is smaller
why
than
it's-
Cuba.
Really.
You know,
Yeah.
it's very, it's tiny.
If you had a chance to go back, would you go back
I would go back.
to live?
Maybe not live, because I'm already here. I served in this country. I'm not living in this country. But
But
maybe
wouldn't you
have.
want a better life for your children?
This is the country.
This is the country.
This is the country.
Okay.
It has its struggles, you know. It has its ups and downs. But this is a country because here you face everything. Every type of fear you face. Every circumstance you face. You want to do something, you can do it. This is a country that has the most opportunities around the world.
That's true.
Period. No matter who's the president, doesn't matter what's the circumstance, it still has the most opportunities
That's true.
for everything.
Who helped you when you came back, or when you arrived to the United States? Was anybody here waiting for you and your mom, or?
There was one of my grandma's brother.
Okay, so you came straight to Miami.
We came straight, yeah. We went
From
from
Israel.
Israel to Mexico.
Okay.
In Mexico, we crossed the border. We pretended that we arrived. This is a scam, everybody. We pretended that we arrived on the boat, because at the time Cubans used to ride on boat way more than they do nowadays. Well, it's starting to happen again, yeah, we crossed a long ass bridge. I remember I was a kid. I was walking that bridge for like hours, man. It felt like I was there for hours, and it was hot. And they asked us, "Oh, how do you guys got here?" We said, "Oh, we just arrived in the boat, and we were sunburned."
This was in Mexico.
That was in Mexico. We were sunburned because we were in the car ride for 13 hours to get to the border.
Wow.
Yeah. And then that's how we crossed.
Can you think back of a moment when someone or a situation has made you feel not welcomed when you first came to this country? Not welcomed, or maybe different because you were an immigrant.
Always. I always felt like that.
Can you share maybe a situation or a moment that stayed in your mind that
When people used to call me terrorist. In school, the kids used to call me terrorist.
But you were Cuban.
But they knew I came from Israel, so they thought I was a terrorist.
Oh wow.
Oh, tráete la bomba. Tráete la bomba. And they used to call me terrorista. They used to.
That's kind of
It's generalizing.
yeah.
I mean, everyone were kids, you know.
Yeah.
Kids are kids. But yeah, that's the experience I had. Also, when people used to talk English around me, and like talk about me because they didn't know English, and that made me feel like I was another outsider once again. Went to Israel, I was an outsider. Didn't know that English, the Hebrew.
Yeah.
I had to learn. But people were talking around me, so I felt like an outsider. When I got here, it was the same situation.
Same situation.
But people were able to talk to me in Spanish. It's just, they did it on purpose, you know? Because I knew Spanish, I knew how to speak. I understood Spanish.
Yeah, right, because you were, What are you most proud of?
Proud?
Yeah.
my military time.
That you completed the military.
I'm proud. Sometimes I feel like I got out too early. I should have done another contract, but I wanted to follow my dream, so everything is a sacrifice.
You can always go back.
I can
Yeah.
if I wanted to, which is not, if the day of tomorrow, if I need to, I would do it with my eyes closed. But as long as I'm out here, I'm focusing on what I want to do. Everything I do is with a purpose. I got out for a reason.
Yeah.
I got out to do what I wanted to do, which is coming out perfectly. I love the process that I'm going through right now.
So you would say you're embracing.
I'm embracing the pain.
You're embracing the pain.
Drink the Kool-Aid, like they used to say in basic training. My drill sergeant used to say, "Drink the Kool-Aid, privates."
Are drugs and alcohol part of your life right now?
Yes.
Yeah. What kind of drugs are you into?
No naming, man. You want me to make names out here?
Just asking the question.
I smoke weed.
So
I
marijuana.
drink marijuana.
Yeah, and alcohol.
Yeah.
Is it constantly or is it recreationally?
I smoke. Look, we're here. I carry this. My best friend. I have my little weed with me all the time. I really don't get high anymore, like I used to. I just do it and I feel chilling.
Gotcha.
I don't care about anything. If someone screams at me, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have a good vibe and it helps me. It's good mental health.
Yeah, it helps a lot of people.
Yeah.
It does. I'm all for the legalization. What's a dream that you want to reach? A dream that you've always had since you were a child that you want to reach, you want to accomplish. What's an accomplishment?
I want the world to hear my voice.
As an artist.
I want the world to hear my voice. And when I say hear my voice, I'm saying my music. If the day tomorrow I do a movie, I want my movie to have an impact. You know what I mean? I want my music to be impact at the clubs, impact in your heart, impact in your mind. I want to be a reason for people to do certain things. You know what I mean?
What do you think would help you reach that goal?
What will help me?
Yeah.
Keep on pushing. Do my homework. Learn, experience. So I can show people what I experience and then people can feel related to me. Because I don't want to become famous, to be like, I'm famous. I want the world to be a family. If I'm walking on the street and people know who I am, that's like, damn, like, what's up? Hey, what's up? My brother, my sister, these people know me.
Right.
They love what I do. For me, when I do something, it's like I want to do this because I want people to love what I do.
That's great, man. That's great.
And I enjoy doing it.
What would you like? What would you like people to understand or to be more informed about immigrants or migrants or those people that are new to this country? What would you like, say, Americans to understand about them, about immigrants?
I feel like I've met so many people that in the army, right? I met people that came from farms, Americans, hillbillies, and they never saw a black person before. They never saw a Cuban before. They never saw a Mexican before. When I joined the army, they used to call me Mexican. Because for a lot of Americans, every Hispanic is Mexican. And I had fights. I used to tell people, hey, I'm not Mexican, there's a difference. I don't have anything against Mexicans, right? But it's different cultures. It's different everything. So you gotta call me from what I am.
Do you think that Well,
It's ignorance.
is there racism in the army?
There is.
How about sexism?
There is. Not as much as there used to, but there is.
What have you
Not
seen?
only in the army, everywhere.
What have you
Everywhere
seen?
that I've worked,
Yeah.
I've worked in the airlines, I've worked at McDonald's, I've worked at Burger King's, I used to do deliveries. There is racism, there is sexism everywhere you go. At the bar, I see people, customers, they talk about it all the time. The other day I had a guy that he couldn't pay for his girlfriend's meal. And the guy next to him looked at him and was like, excuse me, you're not paying for her? And I just looked at the guy and I'm like, what the fuck do you care, man? Like, and I saw that the young man felt uncomfortable. There's a reason why he's not paying. He's like, no, not today. He didn't have money. And I realized because when he gave me his card was declined. So the guy started talking trash. Oh, I'm not gonna have my daughters having boyfriends that don't pay. That's sexism. It's okay for a female to pay. There's no problem with that. Not in the army. That's everywhere.
Right.
You know, there's some people that still say you shouldn't join the army if you're a female. There's some people that say you should join the army if you're a female. Where I was at, we had female. She actually became my girlfriend.
Oh, she became your girlfriend?
She became my girlfriend.
Like a friend or?
My girlfriend.
Like
dating.
Dating. Oh, okay.
We dated.
Dated.
I dated the female. She was actually my driver. I was the gunner of the truck. She was the driver of the truck. Not in the beginning, towards the end, right? Of me being there, but we were already dating before she became the driver of the truck. But
How'd that turn out?
it was alright. Work is work. Military bearing. I always kept my military bearings. Professionalism.
What does that mean, military bearings?
If I know you, you're still a soldier in front of me. If you wear the green, I won't call you by Prado. Right? You call me by Noe. One of my best buddies there, Puerto Riqueño. His name is Marco Rodriguez. In work, I used to call him Rodriguez. Out of work, I would still call him Rodriguez.
Got it.
Military bearing. Military bearing. I can get drunk with you, but tomorrow I'm telling you do this, you have to do it. You know what I mean?
Oh, like there's a rank
Yeah.
that you need to obey or something.
There's not just ranks and orders.
Of course.
You know, if we have to work, we have to work.
Did your girlfriend have a bigger rank than you,
No.
or you were over her?
I was one rank over.
Okay.
She caught up to me towards the end because there's a certain time when you're a rank for like a certain time, and the other person hits their time to become the rank.
Right.
I was about to get out of rank, and she became the same rank that I was. I was still outranking her in time of service, in time in rank, but towards the end, she got the same rank as me.
Do you think that the military is a good thing for today's youth? You think
Yeah.
so?
I feel like.
In other words, do you think that this country should
Push military more.
impose the military like Israel, like Cuba, that you have to do it?
Yo.
It's a duck.
It's a duck. No.
You don't think so?
I don't think this country should push because this country is so big. We have more varieties of people, different type of cultures, different type of being. So there's certain people that are not fit for the military. United States Army is not fit for everyone. I'm not saying that everyone can try out. Obviously, the doors are open for everyone all the time, right? Why not? The more the better. But in my opinion, there's some people that are not cut for it. There's some people that are not cut for the military.
Right.
And if you're gonna, if you're not gonna be good, might as well don't join because you're not gonna have a fun time.
Okay.
There's kids that quit in basic training first day.
Really?
First day. We were going up the stairs in Shark Attack. Going up the stairs, I saw this kid right in front of me. Fall, started crying, he quit. We didn't even make it to the bay.
What happens in that case to that kid?
I mean, it's better for you to go through and finish than quitting. For me, quitting is not an option. That's something I learned. I learned it the good way because I took it. That was my motivation every day in the morning. I used to stand up like ready line, something that we call. It's right in front of her bed. And the wall in front of me had a circle saying it's okay to bleed, it's okay to cry, it's okay to feel pain, it's okay to feel fear. But what's not okay is to quit. Motivation every day. I used to read that every day when I woke up in the morning. The first thing I would see in the morning.
That's pretty good motivation.
Besides my drill sergeant's hat.
That's pretty good motivation. Those are powerful words. Powerful words. How would you like your family to remember you by at this age?
At this age, if I pass away?
No, I don't. I really don't want to bring that word pass away. You know, it's. But what would you like what would you like them to remember your kids to remember you as, or to know you as?
I just want them to know me as a father.
As a father. And your family, what would you like your family to know you as?
I don't really care.
You don't care?
I don't really care.
Wow.
Because I try to be good in front of people's eyes so many times. And every time I try to do that, I fail. If you always try to be like, I want this person to remember me as this. And when I'm talking about a person, I'm talking about your family. You can do that with your friends. You can do that with people you don't know. But with your family is your worst judgment besides you. Because your family would judge you down without caring, or they would judge you, hyping you up, but they're lying to you. There's those two. So that's why when you want to get opinions and stuff like that from people, it's okay if you go to your mom and dad, or whoever raised you. But to go to your family,
you don't believe it's a good idea?
No. I feel it's better for you to find your best friend that's true, real to you, 100%, tell you this is how it is. You're doing this wrong. You got to do this and this and this and that. Boom, no hard feelings. So I don't really care what my family thinks about me.
All right. Is there anything else you want to add, or anything else you want to touch on?
You want to ask me something else?
You're pretty good?
Yeah.
You okay?
We can review it if you want.
All right. Albert, thank you for your time.
You called me Albert. Oh, Jesus.
Thank you for your time, man.
No problem.